Welcome back. Welcome back to this year of 2026. That is where we are in. Can you imagine? Like we're in 2026. Crazy, right? Welcome to the Soup Bowl. I am so happy. I'm so happy that you made it to 2026. And I'm so happy that you're still going on this journey. Yes, we were on a little break. And it's okay because we talked about that balance. We're still going to be talking about that balance as we are in this new year. And so, yes, that's why you didn't see me, but yet I was still thinking about you, and hopefully you were thinking about me, and you were going back looking at some previous episodes and also the ones that you just missed. And so hopefully you were doing that. Hopefully you started off this year great. And hey, I know that when you get in the Super Bowl, life does get messy. But when we're doing it together, guess what? We can get through it. We can get through the tough times together because life is not easy, but it is doable, it is challenging, and it is definitely rewarding. And so we want to make sure that everything that we are supposed to do on this earth before we leave it, we get it done. We get it done. We don't leave it up to anybody else to do it for us. And so here we are. So this is what this is all about. It's talk about leading our own lives first before we begin to start to lead others. So what are we going to get in today? I'm a little bit excited because I think I did this in 2025, and so I want to kind of stick with it, maybe just a little bit more. But hopefully you have looked at 2025 and reflected on that as I talked about in the previous episode. And while you were reflecting on that, you were like, look, I didn't make all things, and so I'm okay with that. But now I want to start looking at how can I make sure that I get things done in 2026 and I get everything done on my list. Or maybe maybe it's not about getting everything done, because you don't want to list like 200 things and like, oh, I can get all these things done. I don't know, maybe it's like fold clothes. Once they come out the dryer, I'm no longer going to let them sit there for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, or I just never fold them. I just pull clothes out the pile. Who does that? Okay, don't raise your hand. Don't tell me about that. Anyway, so yes, these are these things, right? But I want to talk about goals, right? Because it's all about these New Year's resolution, and some of you that started them out have already you went back on them already, right? It's so shameful, but hey, we're not going to judge you, okay? We're just going to listen. So most of the time, right, goals fail, right, not because we lack desire. And it's not because you lack desire, right? It's because the goals lack clarity and ownership and a plan. So you got to have a plan and you got to take ownership of your goals. So today we're going to be talking about how to set those goals, that they are realistic, personal, and achievable through practical steps. We want to make sure that your goals are realistic, personal, achievable through practical steps, right? So there's about 5 points that I want to talk about today, and hopefully you're going to stick with me through this whole process of the 5 points. And hopefully I can remember to put those 5 points, just real like cliff notes, into the actual description section. If I don't remember, send me a note and say, Renee, we don't see them here. Okay, so number 1, vision is personal. No one can do this for you. Only you can do it for yourself. You must have a vision for your own life. I cannot say that again. You must have vision for your own life. No one else can define it for you. And if you let them, you will end up living a version of life that isn't true to who you are. So you're not being authentic to yourself. If you don't have a vision for your life, someone will make it for you. Whether it be a spouse, whether it be a partner, whether it be your children, whether it be your parents, and you're still living under that. When someone else sets your vision, you live under their limitations, what they believe that only you can do. It's their limitations. They have already set them because they said that this is what you can and cannot do. You inherit their standards, whatever those standards may be, whether they're high, too low, whatever. They are their standards. So your authentic self never really shows up. Are you in this right now? Are you dealing with this right now? You're thinking like, I just want to show up. I just want to be myself, but I cannot be myself because if I do, then this person is going to think this, or I still have to do this because this is what they're requiring of me. Then you are not being in your authentic self, and this goes to point number one. You do not have vision for your own life. You have someone else's vision. So revision requires honesty. Not what sounds impressive, not what pleases others, but what aligns with who you truly are and what you want out of life. What do you want out of life? You're going to have to answer that question yourself. No one else can answer that question for you. So it goes back to being honest. Vision requires honesty. What do you really want? When someone's sitting there like, oh, write it down, whatever, let's have an arts and craft project or whatever, and let's like cut out some things and staple on a piece of paper or whatever. Are you sitting like, okay, what are they going to think? Like, if I ask for this, am I really going to get, are you being honest with yourself? Do you want it? Do you want that? Is those your standards? Are you willing to lower them? Are you willing to raise them? Vision requires honesty. So I want you to think about these 3 questions that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to answer them. You don't have to tell me unless you want to call me out. But I want you to answer these questions. If no one's expectations matter, what would I generally want my life to look like in the next 3 to 5 years? What do you want it to look like? I'm even going to dare you to even think about what would it look like a month from now. What would that look like? Okay. And number 2, where have I allowed others, whether it be the family, whether it be the culture, come on culture, whether it be fear, we talked about this, or past failures, to define what is realistic for me. And number 3, what part of my vision feels most authentic? And what part of it feels borrowed? Which one is authentic to who you are, and which one feels that you borrowed it from someone else, or someone else gave it to you, and you're still holding on to it? And let me tell you, you need to turn that back in. That part you need to turn back in. But I want you to ask yourself these questions. These are reflective questions in regards to point number 1. Vision is personal. That's point number 1. Vision is personal. And are you able to answer those 3 questions in regards to that? All right, point number 2. External pressures distorts authentic goals. External pressure distorts authentic goals. What do you mean, Renee? Well, many people don't fail because they aim too low, but it's because they aim according to someone else's expectation. That goes back to the vision of whose is it? Is it yours or is it borrowed? Did someone place it on you because you didn't have vision for your own life? So it's not that they're too low or it's too high. It's just someone else's. You have to get your own. What are your expectations of yourself? Sorry about that microphone. What is the expectations for yourself? See, other people may place limits on what they believe is realistic for you. I had to, take ownership, of some things that I was placing on my daughter. And I'm like, hold up a second. She's not me. I'm going to have to let her be and let her go through this, by herself. She's going to have to start making some decisions and then look at the repercussions of the decisions that she made. Like, what is it that you want out of life? Not what I want out of life for you, but what do you want out of life? Because at the end of the day, no matter what your career is, no matter where you live at, no what you're driving, how your hair is, whatever the case may be, are you okay with that? And those are the things I started learning to how to respond with. Are you okay with that? Do you want that? How do you feel about that? Because I don't have to live and walk around with the hairstyle. I don't have to walk around that neighborhood. I don't have to go to that school. Like, no, you do, not me. So if you're okay with that, then stick to it. If you like the results that you're getting out of it, stick to it. If you don't like the results, make a move. Make a move. And so that's, yeah. So make a move. I'm going to just keep that right there, because a lot of us have, especially with our children, we have put these expectations on them, and it's like, take your expectations back. My expectation is that you live a life that is fulfilled with the purpose that has been placed on you. That's the expectation. And that you be a productive citizen, right? Like, my expectation is not for you to go out there and, end up in the federal prison or prison within itself, or you end up in an abusive relationship. No, that's not an expectation. But my expectations of the choices that you make in life is not about the career that I want for you, but it's about, are you able to attain what it is that you want for your own life by doing whatever it is that you do. Okay? All right. You need to make sure that you're adding standards. I'm sorry. That when other people may do this, right, they add standards that you never agreed to. Right? I didn't agree to that. Like, I was just talking to my person, Murdoch, about this, right, the other day. Like, when you agree to something and you say yes, then what is it that you said yes to? See, I'm the type of person that I will ask 1,000 questions if time permits for me to make a decision. Because I want to know, I need to count up the cost of what it is that I'm saying yes to. Because if I don't agree to those things, then I need to say up front, no, I didn't agree. I'm not going to agree to that. I can do this, but I can't do this. It's called negotiation. However, a lot of times we're saying yes to things that we never agreed to, right? Because we allow, right, those standards to be placed on us, right? And then there's projects, there's fears or experiences in the future, again, that we did not agree to. So your responsibility when it comes to these goals in this year is to filter the input and not surrender the authorship to your life. You are the author, right, to the goals and the vision of your life. And so if you don't take ownership of that, someone else will take ownership for you. It's just that simple. They're going to take ownership of it. If you can't make a decision, you made a decision not to make a decision. Now someone else is going to make a decision for you. So take ownership of that, right? So here's some reflective questions I want you to ask yourself in point 2. Again, point 2 is external pressure distorts authentic goals. So don't allow people to put pressure on you to do things that you don't want to do. It's just plain and simple. You don't want to do it, don't make it part of your vision, and keep it moving, right? In what ways have I edited or minimized myself to meet someone else's standard? That's that shrinking back. Where have I shrink back to? No, you don't need to shrink back. You need to stand on who you are, right? I'm here for you if you need help discovering that. All right, and another reflective question is, what would change if I gave myself permission to want what I actually want without having to justify myself? Who are you always having to justify yourself to? Why is it that you always feel like you have to give an explanation to something when you don't? No is a full sentence, people. It's a full sentence. No. I don't agree. No, I'm not doing that. It's just plain and simple. All right, so think about those questions. I want you to actually think about them, and then I actually want you to answer them. This is going to help you in 2026. We're about results. Okay? We're about results. All right, point number 3. Write it down and make it visual. Some of you are like, yeah, write it down, make it plain. So people that read it can run with it. No, write your vision down. Okay? So that when you see it, you can run with it. Shonda. Yes, I did say Shonda. You write it down so that when you read it, that you can run with it. If you don't write it down, you're not seeing it. It's just a fleeting thought in your head. Write it down and take accountability of your vision for your life. What do you want? Do you have the boldness to write it down? And do you have the boldness to go after it? Vision must move from thought into form. Again, it's just fleeting if it's just in your head and you never actually write it down on a piece of paper. Come on now. Let's get bold in 2026. Write your goals down. Draw them if you need to. Some of us are more, hey, I need to make a story out of this, right? Be creative in your visual reminders, right? Some people like to do their vision boards. If that's what you want to do, great. Get magazines, whatever, cut them out, boom, boom, say, put your vision board, your visual arts or whatever, put fabric, all these type of things on your vision board. And you want to place them where you can see them. Do not write something in a brand new journal that you've got and you never pick that journal up again. So for me, I'm going to share what I like to do that I've learned over some years is that I like to make a visual, digital board, so to speak, because why? I have a device, there's tablets, there's a computer. I can see this thing. I can see it at all times. Because one thing is important about your vision and your goals in your life is that you need to be looking at this thing daily. That's how it becomes realistic. That's how it becomes like, oh man, I'm seeing this. And then you get to see the wins also when you're doing this. Like, oh man, this happened. Oh man, wow. Right? So you need to get honest again about what you want. You need to write it down so that when you see it, you can run with it. Right? Not no one else running with it, but you can run with it. We're talking about you and not no one else. Right? Get creative in how you're setting up the reminders. If you got to put a reminder on your phone to ping you to be like, oh, go read your vision board, go read your goals, look at that goal statement to remind you of what you're supposed to be doing and not doing, okay, to do that. So look, what are the things that you look at? So let me help you out with this visual reminder thing. What are the things that you do daily, that you look at daily, right? Do you look in the mirror daily? Maybe you need to post it on your mirror. You take half of your mirror, put it up there, whatever the case may be. Or maybe there's words that will help you to remind you about, boom, I need to go look at this. You're looking at your phone daily. You're looking at your refrigerator daily, right? You're looking at your workspace daily. Like, these are things to help you think about, where do I need to place this at? But get creative in that, because you might need to place it in multiple places, and that's okay. That's okay. So like at my office at work, like I have my Post-its that's on my wall of things that I want to make sure that I stay grounded in, that I remind myself, and people that enter that space too, to look at like, oh, these are thoughts, things that make me think of how I'm acting and how I'm behaving. But in those times, I am looking, when I'm thinking about ideals or things, I'm just looking at those Post-it notes. So that's a way I'm looking around my office. That's a way for me to look at something visual, right? That I have a vision for my life, which is great. You want to make sure that you remind yourself, that you challenge yourself, and that you allow yourself to dream. Give yourself permission to dream. Right? Give yourself permission to have that childlike imagination again. I think I need to do a whole session on the mindset of children and how it can help you in your liberation of being creative in things in your life. right? Moving in the direction of your life with no limitations. Because when we're talking about getting back to childlike faith, you're talking about taking that cardboard box and it's anything. It could be anything. It's the washer, it's the dryer, it's the rocket ship, it's the car, it's the boat, it's the train. Like, it's going to get me to where I need to go, right? It's a teleport system that takes me from one country into another country. It takes me into the moon. Like these are things that children think of. I'm going to take the sheet and it's my cape. I'm going to take the sheep and make me a tent out of it. I'm going to take the sheep and I'm going to make an igloo. I'm going to take the sheep, right, and I'm going to make the wind blow. You know, these are things that keep our imagination and our creativity moving forward for innovation for our own lives. And so that's the thing that you have to do. You have to let your mind begin to dream beyond measures, beyond limitations. You must give yourself permission for that. Okay? Hopefully, I thought we was going to get through this, but I'm trying to get through this. I'm not going to try to make a part two. Okay, so some reflection questions in this section would be is, what do I look at every single day that shapes my thinking intentionally or unintentionally? What are those things that you look at every day? Number 2, where could I place visual reminders of my goals so they stay present in my daily life? Think about those questions. All right, let's get to point number 4, because we got 2 more points. Point number 4 is we want to move from vision into action. So now you wrote these things down. Right? First of all, you said, okay, I'm going to have a vision for my own life, right? Then I'm going to get rid of these external things that's happening around me. And now I'm going to make sure that I'm writing the vision down. I'm writing the goals down, right? So I can make sure that I run with these visions. And now I'm going to take this and I'm going to move into action, right? I'm going to map this thing out to make sure that I meet these goals and I got some results and they're not just fleeting thoughts. So once your vision is clear, and you ask yourself the question of, what do I need to do to get there? That's the question that you need to ask yourself once you've written out your goals. What do I need to do to get there? You got to break it down, right? What are the practical steps? What skills do I need to learn? What habits must I change? What actions can I take this week and not someday? But what are those things that I need to do? So let's take, for example, you're saying, hey, I've been having thoughts of, writing a newsletter, right? You've been writing a newsletter. Okay, for a second. Okay, let's go back. Let's say you want to do a blog, right? So what are those things that you need to do to write this blog? What are the practical steps that I need to take? Do I need to do some research on other people's blogs and what platforms are blogs doing or whatever? I need to set a date, right? Like, I want to start my blog, launch my blog on this date. And so now I'm backward planning, right, into doing that. What skills do I need to learn? Am I going to have someone set this up for me, or am I going to be able to do this myself? What habits do I need to change? Well, if I'm going to do this thing myself, and of course I'm writing the actual blog and not having someone else write it for me, then I need to set I need to set time aside each week to make sure that I am going to write this blog out. And then once I write this blog, I need time to make sure that I do editing, I get, some feedback in reference to the blog. And then how often is my blog going to come out? Is it going to come out weekly? Is it going to come out bi-weekly? Is it going to come out monthly? So there's all the practical steps that it needs to get to. Do I want to have so many write-ups done before I actually launch, right? What's my color scheme? What's it going to be called? All these things, practical steps that it needs to take. So it's kind of like, I want to do a blog one day, and there's steps that must be taken to get there, right? And so you have to be willing, again, to write those things out of what it's going to take to get there, right? So big goals are achieved through small, repeated decisions. So just like I said about that blog, each day or each week I'm making a decision to do or not to do these things. And it's either going to get me closer to the finish line, or it's going to extend the finish line. It's just plain and simple. Plain and simple. So let me give you one of the reflection questions that you can think about, right? What is one goal I have that feels overwhelming because I haven't broken it down yet? What is that one goal? What is that one goal? And I want you to think about that goal and think about writing down, right, the practical steps that it will take to get there. And if you are being challenged and you're just like, I need some help with this, hit me up and I will help you break those things down. Okay? That's what I'm here for. That's one of the things that I do. I'm an efficiency coach and I can help you get to that. I'm all about results. Yes, I'm all about the results. Okay, point number 5, so we can wrap this up, is discipline is non-negotiable. Listen to me, because I love you. I love you with all of my heart. Discipline is non-negotiable. Vision without discipline is only going to produce frustration. It's only going to produce, look at this, 0 results. You must discipline yourself. Yes, I just said a cuss word to some of you. You must discipline yourself. To grow, you will have to let go of some things that you've been comfortable in. You want to do a blog, but you don't want to write. You want to do a blog, but you want to travel all over the things and never sit down and take time aside. You want to go here with the activities. You want to hang out here. You want to do that. You're going to have to let go of some of those comforts. You're going to have to release some of those habits that are no longer serving you. You want to get to a certain place in your life and your financial freedom. You're going to have to stop and look like, okay, for this period of time, I'm not going to be able to do certain things. Or I'm going to get to take more discipline in certain areas. I can't go out to eat every single week. Or I can't go to lunch and pay for my lunch every single day of the week. There must be some disciplines that's put in place. I can't go to Starbucks. I can't go to Dunkin' Donuts. You're going to have to put some disciplines in place. And then you're going to have to take on new behaviors that you haven't even tried before. You're going to have to say no. You're going to have to say some yeses, right, to things. I'm just saying. So it's going to take discipline. Growth is going to be discomfort. At the end of the day, when you're growing, it demands discomfort. You ever think about, like, if you had a child, or maybe it was even you, that when, like, it was that summertime frame and they all felt like, oh, I got knee pain or something like that, and not realizing that you were actually growing, you were actually getting taller. Or maybe, like, you were in that workout regime and you wanted to make sure that, you had that 6-pack going on or whatever, and there was like that pain, like after doing so many crunches, after doing so many sit-ups, or maybe like, oh, I need to get these thighs tightened up, I need this buttocks on point. And so like you're doing all of these squats and doing all these legs exercises, and there's some pain in there. There is pain because you are working muscles that have not been worked before, and you are training them to do things, right? The pain of your hair journey or whatever, where you got to train it to do what you want to do. I didn't get these locks just because I just woke up one day and I wanted some locks. No, I had to go through some growth, and I had to go through some discomfort. And so that discomfort is going to be there, but you must discipline yourself. Discipline is not negotiable. I can't negotiate like, oh yeah, I want to grow these locks, but I don't want to wash my hair. I don't want to get my hair down. I want to get retwist. No, you must discipline yourself to do that. You must discipline yourself. And there's going to be the discomfort of that. And with that requires consistency. Come on now, consistency, that you must do this thing. So then it becomes your new habit. Right? So you're not going to break something and start something new if you're not going to be consistent in it. I want to grow in my faith. I want to grow in my relationship with God. I want to, lose weight. There must be consistency. There must be something that you are doing every single day that gets you closer to the results that you want. You didn't get there last year because there was no consistency. You didn't get there last year because there was no discipline. And that's the thing that we don't want to do. We don't want to discipline ourselves. We don't want to discipline ourselves to sit down and read for ourselves, but we want to take the word of someone else other than reading for ourselves and then going to verify. We don't want to discipline ourselves like, okay, no, I don't need to eat that. I just need to make sure that I'm eating healthy and I'm eating right for my body. We don't want to discipline ourselves when it's time to study. We don't want to discipline ourselves when it's time to research. We don't want to discipline ourselves when it's time that we're not able to go. So ensure that we are disciplining ourselves, okay, when it comes to that, right? Discipline bridges the gap between desire and reality. So when we discipline ourselves, we're bridging the gap. There was a desire, but now there's the reality. And how do we get to the place in the middle where there's the results? Here we go. So I want you to reflect on this very question, right, in this particular topic when it talks about discipline is non-negotiable, right? What will I need to do in order to let go? Oh, Shonda, right? Comfort, is it time, is it habit, or is it distractions? What are those distractions that you need to tie away from? What are those distractions, right? So I want to leave you with this, right? Because we're going to wrap this up. I want to leave you with this. And I'm also thinking about doing like an actual series that I'll probably place on my website in reference to this and dig a little bit deeper into it or go back and reference, right? With some visuals so you can see. But your future is not built on one moment. It is built through daily alignment between your visions, your actions, and your discipline. It's just that plain and simple. That's what your future is built off of. Vision, action, and discipline. So those three right there is what's moving you right through life. And if you look at those three things and you're not where you need to be at, it's because those are off. So you don't need to be perfect. You need clarity, right? And that's because these 5 points right here. You need ownership because this is your life. And you need mobility, meaning you need to move. You need to just stop sitting there thinking, I'm going to do this, or it's going to get done and fall, magically from the sky, because it's not. Right? So it decides with you first that your life is worth designing intentionally. People don't just end up in a place. A decision was made. Sacrifices were made. Discipline was put in place. And so if you want it, then it's up to you to go get it. So out of these reflection questions, I hope that you take this seriously for 2026, because I believe in you and I believe that you can get there. But the vision must be yours and no one else. Hey, if you need to talk, chum it up, get there, I can help you get to your results. I am a coach. And that's what we do. We help you get to your results. And let me tell you, coaching is not about telling you what to do and doing it for you, because again, that is someone else, right, putting standards in places and decisions on your life. No, coaching is about helping you map things out and getting you to the results. Having accountability, helping you get those things out of your head into right on a written form, and you being like, okay, I can do this. I can meet this goal by this date. This is someone just taking already what's in you and just getting it and just drawing it out of you little by little. So that's what I'm here for. You can hit me up at www.formosaic.com. I am here to do life with you. I'm for it, and I love you. Do know that leading is teachable, and there is nothing that you can do about it. Until next time, peace and happy 2026.